Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Christy Bizaire, and I'm happy to be here representing CTV Windsor today and the Windsor-Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to start by thanking Media Street Productions for its sponsorship of the event. Here's a rundown of our format. Each candidate will get equal time to answer questions. The order of speakers was drawn at random. The candidate who is asked to respond first will get a minute and a half. The next two candidates will have 1 minute to share their thoughts, followed by a 30-second rebuttal from the first candidate. We ask that you please turn the ringers off on your cell phones and electronic devices, and that you please hold your applause until our debates are over. Please let me introduce our candidates. From the Progressive Conservative Party, Robert DeVertai. From the New Democratic Party, Percy Hatfield. And from the Liberal Party, Jeevan Gill. Gentlemen, you'll each get 1 minute to make opening remarks. We'll also have 1 minute for closing remarks. We'll start with our opening remarks from Mr. Robert DeVertai.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Chamber for having this debate indoors in air conditioning. It's been a hot summer. We have 3 candidates standing up here, but basically we only have 2 parties. There's an NDP Liberal coalition supporting each other in government, and the PC party. Those guys are going to talk about the same things. They're going to talk about higher taxes, more spending, bigger government, empty promises. The PC party is different. We believe in lower taxes, a balanced budget, less debt, and less red tape. I'm also different because my background is in the automotive industry. I know what it takes to create jobs here. We need education, lower energy costs, lower taxes, and less regulation. The other guys think the only good job is a government job. They think manufacturing is dead here. I don't. I believe in Windsor, I believe in our industry, and I'm willing to fight for it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hatfield, your opening remarks.
Thanks, Christy. I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this debate. The people of Windsor-Tecumseh have a choice. They can choose more of the same politics that leave families falling behind, or they can elect an MPP who will deliver results and hold government accountable. For the past 7 years, I've worked as a city councillor. I've made some hard decisions. I know how to get things done. I know how to work with people of all political stripes. The NDP got results in the budget, cutting wait times for home care, a 15% cut in auto insurance, a plan to get young people working again, and we demanded the formation of a financial accountability office that will stop spending scandals before they start. I'm proud of my record in the Windsor-Essex area, reporting on the issues that matter, and getting results from my constituents. I'm going to continue that work for the people of Windsor-Tecumseh at Queen's Park. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gill, your opening remarks.
Good morning. My name is Jeevan Gill. I came to this country in 1989 and with 2 degrees, science and education, to find a better future for myself and my kids. I worked hard to establish myself and eventually started a successful small business in Windsor, running a real estate and mortgage brokerage. I am married to Karen and have 2 daughters living in Windsor for last 13 years. I am always involved with the community from last 13 years, doing volunteer work, sitting on different boards, such as AV St. Clair Community Care Access Center, Multicultural Council, South Asian Center, Rotary Club, Parkview School Council. I am a proud Liberal for 20 years. Working with Member of Parliament for Brampton for 2 years. I'm going to work hard for people of Windsor-Tecumseh.
Thank you, sir. That's time. We apologize for the technical audio issue. We're going to start with our questions now. We're starting with Mr. DeVertai. Mr. DeVertai, where do you stand on the construction of a new single-site acute care hospital or mega hospital?
Well, Tim Hudak was down here in Windsor, and he said he would support the mega hospital. So Definitely, if it works out for our community, it's going to be in the cards with the PC party. With the mega hospital, we have to make sure it actually is going to work for the community. We're talking over $1 billion. That's $1 billion that we could spend on other things, on home care or senior care or critical care. So we have to make sure that that money is spent appropriately. We have to make sure that the whole city has access to the mega hospital. We have to make sure that it's something that doesn't close other hospitals, that will devastate our communities, as we saw with Grace Hospital site and the Liberal mismanagement of that particular project. So as long as it works for our community, I'm fully supporting it, and the PC party supports it, and it'll be my job as MPP to make sure that thing comes in on time, on budget, and delivers the results that we need. No scandals, no waste, no inside deals.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hatfield.
Thank you for the question. The people have proven, have shown that they support a mega hospital in this area. There was a committee set up to look at it. They've consulted. I have met with the CEOs of the hospitals, and they have convinced me that they have a plan. They have a business plan. They are merging their operations. They are sharing, going into different areas. Hotel Dieu Grace will be on the west side. The acute, or the real hospital process will be going on at regional, long-term rehab on the west side. So they know where they're going. The CEOs are working together. There's going to be a bit of downsizing at the top.
15.
But it will be built, I hope. I think what they have to do is give more of a business plan to the province, and then I think they get something like $30 million to do all the technical work that has to go into it. So
that's time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gill.
Only the Ontario Liberal Party has strong action plan that protects universal health care. And only Liberal Party has built up 23 hospitals in last 10 years. They hired more nurses, more people are accessible to family doctors. We cut down the surgical wait time. We cut down the generic drugs in half. And I'm going to work hard with Legacy, starting with Dwight Duncan and Teresa Proza, advocating at Queen's Park for a new single-site, state-of-the-art hospital. And I know that if I'm elected, we can work together to bring this hospital
15.
in Windsor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. DeVerta, your rebuttal?
Well, it seems like PC Party is the only party that has come out in full support of funding a new mega hospital from Tim Hudak, our leader, so I guess there you have your answer.
Okay, question number 2 is for Mr. Hatfield. Mr. Hatfield, across the country, Windsor included, businesses say they have jobs available in the skilled trades and no one to fill them. What would you do to address the problem and help local businesses fill these important roles?
I think it starts with education. I think for whatever reason, the policies have not made it possible for people involved in all the education to go out and look ahead into the future and say, what will we need 3, 5, 10, 20 years from now? So through St. Clair College and the university, we have to be working on our skill sets. We have to be looking at the technology that's evolving. We have to get out and we have to find out where we're going in skilled jobs. There's no secret in this area. When you have the tool and die and mold industry that are 5, 7 years ahead of everybody else, if you're going to build a new vehicle and you're going to need parts for it, you have to do all that mold stuff a lot in advance. And you need the people thinking ahead. And we haven't been doing enough of that. We haven't encouraged enough of that. We haven't given incentives enough of that. We have to get out and convince people that the future is out there, technology is changing, and we have to prepare our young people for that. And then sometimes you have to bring skilled trades in from other countries. And you have to make sure they have a job when they get here. But until, we just have to do a better job of training our own people for those jobs.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gill?
As my experience with small business, I know the concerns of business and how to run and how we have problems, how to solve that one. I'm proud that Liberal Party worked hard to bail out Chrysler, save the auto industry, save thousands of jobs in this city. And this is the Liberal Party who brings $2 billion investment in parkway and bridge construction, and again creating the jobs locally here in Windsor. And it is the Liberal Party who built the medical school and engineering building at the University of Windsor and Medical Arts Center at St. Clair College, because the education and healthcare is our young people
15.
is top priority. I'm going to work hard to attract more businesses, to work towards creating more jobs in this local city, Windsor and Tecumseh.
Mr. DeVerti.
Education, education, education. That's our future right here. I work in automotive, I work in manufacturing, I work in technology. Absolutely, we need more education. We need more focused education. Our universities need to focus on degrees that will get them jobs. Our colleges, we'd like to see more colleges, more skilled trades, more people go through applied programs. We'd like to see 2 or 3-year associate's degrees being offered by colleges. But also we want to engage business. I'll tell you at Valiant here, there's an absolutely fantastic program. 46 weeks, they'll pay people, apprentices, to go through that program. They actually pay them. They don't have to pay tuition fees. And at the end of it, they've learned a skilled trade. There's 19, 20-year-old people entering Tool and Die and entering Valiant and having good jobs because of that program. So we want to work with business. We want to focus on skilled trades. We want to work on colleges. And if we do that, the future here is really, really bright, because automotive is booming, manufacturing is entering a revolution. It's a revolution of knowledge workers, and I believe here we can have a really bright future in Windsor-Tecumseh.
Thank you, Mr. Hatfield. Your rebuttal.
Well, yes, it's been said. We need more skilled trade sets. We need more people in our community working in skilled trades, earning good money, spending that money in our community, and growing our community. And it just has to come about. We have the people, we have the technology, we have the ability. The governments have not focused all of that into a program
15.
that looks ahead, plans ahead, and says, we will do this, we will make it work no matter what it takes. We will create a skilled force employment here, skilled employment force.
Question number 4 is for Mr. DeVerti. Ontario's debt is rising by 5.5% a year, and it's the 3rd largest item in the provincial budget. What would your spending priorities be, and what is your plan to reduce the level of debt in Ontario?
Yeah, the debt, I mean, it's startling. It's $200 billion right now. We're adding $1 billion a month in debt, and also $1 billion a month we're spending on interest payments on the debt. It would have been $1 billion smaller if the NDP hadn't struck their backroom deals to support the Liberals. The debt is absolutely a priority concern for us. First, it starts, of course, with balancing the budget, which we're going to do before 2017. We have to have government the size that we can pay for. It's so simple. You know, when I go to the door, people understand that. They have their own budgets, they have their credit cards, they understand that you've got to balance it at the end of the month or the end of the year, or at least once every 10 years you've got to balance it. But the Liberals just haven't delivered on that, and the NDP are promising more of the same. We're going to balance the budget. We're going to start eliminating that deficit, that debt in 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Hatfield.
I think when you're setting out to work on the debt and deficit, it's a long journey and many small steps. Perhaps you begin by closing the unfair corporate tax loopholes that are costing the rest of us money. You also put into place policies through an accountability officer that would prevent the $600 million that is being spent on the cost of saving a few Liberal seats in the last election on the gas plants, the e-health, all the scandals that have gone on have cost money, hundreds of millions of dollars. It adds up to the billions. If you were using that money on the debt or deficit, you'd be getting somewhere. But in tough economic times, you can't balance the books on the backs of low-income and middle-income people. You have to look at the top. We need to find fair, balanced, responsible ways to approach tax revenue.
He's going to thank us.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gill.
Ontario families want to pay less for the car insurance. They want to create jobs for their kids. They want care for their parents and reliable road and infrastructure to help them get home to their families at the end of the day. That is our track record, creating the jobs in Windsor, saving the jobs in Windsor in auto industry and creating new hospitals, creating new schools, that is working towards each family to give them a more. And we proved 3 consecutive bringing balanced budget, whatever PC left a big mess in 2003. And we are going to continue working towards our balancing the budget in 2017 and 18 and growing the initiatives towards healthcare and education.
Thank you, Mr. DeVerta, your rebuttal.
Well, the Liberals say they'll balance the budget by 2018. Oh, I don't know, I think I've heard that before. And the NDP didn't even talk about balancing the budget. There was no word about it. It was just new revenue tools. You know, I know they want to increase corporate tax by 22%. We know what that does to jobs here. We're going to balance that budget before 2017, and we're going to deliver a balanced budget. We're going to have a manageable government the size that we can afford.
Thank you, sir. Our 5th question is for Mr. Hadfield. Windsor's unemployment rate remains the 3rd highest in the province. According to Statistics Canada, the unemployment rate was 9.4% in June. What ideas do you have to stimulate job creation in this region?
Well, what we've been talking about is giving a tax credit to the companies that create jobs and invest in technology. There's 500,000 people in Ontario out of work. We've lost 14,000 manufacturing jobs here in the past 7 years. Manufacturing jobs across the province, 10 years, 300,000 jobs. I don't know that manufacturing jobs are going to flood back, but the New Democrats have fought to create a job creator tax credit. It's a targeted way of rewarding the companies that create new jobs, and it's simple. Create a job, get a tax credit. Windsor's youth unemployment rate is approximately 20%. Because of NDP pressure, the Liberal government included a significant youth employment initiative in its 2013 budget. It reflects many elements of the NDP youth employment proposal. New Democrats would also implement a law for the government of Ontario to buy Ontario, buy local. If you're providing the produce or food to your nursing homes, make sure it's from Ontario. If you're buying cars for your fleets, make sure they're built in Ontario.
15.
If you're buying new buses, make sure a good content of the transit buses are built in Ontario. You have to help Ontario transportation, construction, local food production, and other industries. And the way to do that is to buy
I'm
local.
sorry, sir, it's time.
Thank you.
Mr. Gill.
I am proud to be the Liberal Party track records of investment and job creation in Windsor and Essex. It is the Liberal Party who bailed out the Chrysler, saved the auto industry, and saved thousands of jobs in this city. And where are my friends at that time when their leaders are voting against that policy to kill the bailout? It is the Liberal Party who bring more initiative, bringing a parkway, bringing a direct bridge to create more jobs. I'm going to work hard to bring more jobs to this city. Our government gave an initiative, 295 million towards the youth job strategy. That will engage the new youth into the job market. And I'm going to work hard to create more jobs for the people of Windsor in this region.
Thank you. Mr. DeVerta.
Mr. Gill, the bridge was federal. We have to thank Mr. Watson at the back of that, by the way. But, you know, creating jobs, and it's funny to talk about the Liberals talking about creating manufacturing jobs when all they've done is kill manufacturing jobs, especially with their Green Energy Act that doubled the price of electricity. I was really disappointed at Mr. Hatfield when he said he's given up on the manufacturing industry here. I come from manufacturing. That's my bread and butter. That's my wife's bread and butter. That's my family's bread and butter. We are going to create manufacturing jobs here. You believe it. We are going to create manufacturing jobs here through education. We are going to create manufacturing jobs here by lowering taxes, not increasing taxes as the NDP plan to do. We're going to create manufacturing jobs here by building on this great automotive region and the fact that automotive is booming. The other guys have been speaking out against the automotive industry. Oh no, there's no jobs there. It's a dead industry. It's our second biggest year ever for automotive sales in North America, the biggest year ever in Canada. It has a bright future. It's the biggest industry in the world. We're part of a unique automotive cluster that could be one of the shining lights in the world, like Silicon Valley or like financial in New York. I believe in this industry and I believe in Windsor.
Mr. Hatfield, your rebuttal?
Thank you. I'm so pleased to hear the first flip-flop of the campaign. Last week, go to Detroit. This week, back in Windsor, manufacturing jobs are flooding back. I want to see it. I've yet to see it. I can't wait to see it. I don't hold out hope for a 5,000 job plant or a 10,000 job plant to make up for some of what has been lost. I welcome all manufacturing jobs. If we can get it, through the tax stimuli or the benefit plan that we're proposing, good. Create a job, get a credit. That's what
15?
we're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning are two different visions for government. The NDP Liberal vision of more taxes, more spending and bigger government, and the PC vision of less taxes, balanced budgets, and letting industry create jobs. People ask me all the time at the door, why should I vote? It doesn't matter, nothing ever changes. I tell them, nothing changes because you vote for the same old people every time. If you want change, you have to vote for it. We always say Windsor is an automotive town, a manufacturing town, but we have never elected anyone with automotive experience. I would be the first. If you choose the same old people, you get the same old results. We know the Liberals are corrupt, and we know the NDP are supporting them. If you want change on August 1st, you've got to vote for someone different.
15?
You've got to vote for Robert DeBertai and the PC party.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hatfield.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you for coming today and doing this, and to the Chamber for organizing the debate. Thank you to Joe Comartin for being here. Jeff Watson, who worked on the line at Chrysler, has some automotive experience himself, for being here as well. And Teresa Perusa, thank you. Bill Mara, Ron Sutherland, Deputy Mayor of Amherstburg, thank you for being here. It's clear to me that the people have serious concerns about Ontario's Liberal government. We know the old strategies like no strings attached corporate tax giveaways don't create new jobs. It's time for something new. We need to start investing in hard-working communities such as ours. The NDP will implement job creation tax benefits for corporations and small businesses that create good jobs and invest in their employees.
15?
We are insisting on the creation of a financial accountability office that will prevent future spending scandals. I'm asking you to support me as your MPP. I'll fight for accountability in government and jobs in the community. I will get results for you. Thank you for coming.
Mr. Gill.
Thank you everyone for coming and tuning in. Thank you Chamber of Commerce for hosting today's debate. I am proud to be standing here as your Liberal candidate. I had worked hard during 2 weeks and 2 more to go to meet more people so that I can convey whatever we did for Windsor and this area. And I'm going to work hard for the people, creating jobs, bringing better health care, better education for our kids. And where my friend Percy has joined the NDP for convenience, or would he stand with Andrea not to support auto jobs when bailout was there?
15.
And also I asked Robert, his Conservative Party is in cutting healthcare, cutting colleges, schools at their time. Please vote for Jeevan Gill on August the 1st. I will work hard for people of Windsor-Tecumseh. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for